I can actually admit that my self-limiting beliefs has held me back and delayed my process a lot longer and a lot more than it should have realistically, right? And the cool thing about it is that when it comes to, my self-limiting beliefs, I don't always necessarily know when I'm operating from an energy that's less than my full potential, right? It shows up in like the little small things that I do, especially with me being in a field where my job almost is attention, right? Whether that's bringing attention to me, bringing attention to other people, etc. One of my self-limiting beliefs and one of my like low-key insecurities is the fear of being seen, right? I've always been the type of person where it was cool being in the background, right? Like, of course, I always wondered what it felt like to, be the popular kid in the group, right? But that was just never my essence. I was always in the background, really to myself, really quiet, etc. So to be put in like a time where like technology is really just like potent and, I'm an entrepreneur and all these other type of things, it's a self-limiting belief that I feel like holds me back, because a lot of things that I know, I've knew for a while. Now, if I would have implemented it when I knew it, if I was to, stop being so insecure all the time and really just do the things that I know was true, my reality would probably be different right now, right? But granted, everything that happens in our life is to teach us a lesson, right? So if the path's been delayed, your path's been delayed, whatever the case may be, it's more than likely because it was supposed to be delayed because you needed to learn a certain lesson, right? Which it always, pulls my attention back to me in the craziest ways possible, right? Because I kind of start realizing that it's on me, right? And what do I mean by that? If I do the things that I know I need to do when I know I need to do them, and I don't procrastinate, I don't get insecure in the process, I don't start doubting myself, all these other type of things, life will literally be an exhibit of my efforts, right? But the more I sit in my insecurities, the more I sit in my self-doubt, my self-limiting beliefs, whatever that shows up as, nothing gets, done. I've noticed I get the most stuff done when, like I said, I'm not being insecure. There's literal post in my phone at this exact moment that I'm scared to post, right? And I don't know why. I don't know where this self-limiting belief is coming from. Let me remind you that this isn't even a video of me. This is a video of a mainstream artist. But for some reason, I'm still hesitant to post it, right? I don't want the judgment. I know it's going to bring eyes. It's more attention. It's my literal job to be posting that piece of content and, continuing the marketing and stuff like that. But I'm getting in my own way, and I do it a lot. It's really healing myself. I feel like the more I heal, the more I address, my emotions, my insecurities, my depth, my feeling, I get a lot more clarity, and it allows me to, in other words, elevate, grow, achieve. So it's just something I've been learning, just trying to look at myself, which is a very difficult thing sometimes for us to do, because it requires you to be truthful with yourself. And once you start having, or at least once I start having like that level of accountability, it makes it, I'm not going to say difficult, but it's really eye-opening, because then you see yourself making decisions that you shouldn't be making. And then every single time you operate from that lower vibration, every single time you put yourself last, you're insecure, you have a self-limiting belief, you know it, and you're not living up to your fullest potential, and it irks you even more. I feel like, from my experience, I would always rather live with the regret of rejection than the regret of not doing, right? One of those hits a lot harder. When I do something, I try something, whether I'm insecure, I'm scared, whatever the case may be, and I do it anyways, right? The emotions that come from taking the risk, and even if it ends up in a no gate, like whatever the case may be, it's always a little bit more peaceful knowing that you did what your heart told you to do and you bet on yourself, in other words. It feels a lot worse when you feel like you missed an opportunity, or you feel as if, you got in your own way and you didn't make the most out of what God gave you. That is such a heavy emotion to deal with. And it's just really eye-opening, especially once you start looking at it in the terms of years, right? When you look at it from like a very short-term perspective, right, you may not realize how much time you actually blew until you look at it from more of a longer time period, long period of time, and you see the conjunction of all the time that you've wasted. That is crazy. So yeah, I think a lot of my next journey, or my next chapter in life, however you want to phrase it, is working on my confidence, working on my mindset, working on, and when people say mindset, people don't really understand what that really means. Your mindset is healing, your self-development as a person. What do you see as important? What do you see as useful? What do you see as a distraction? It's really ties down into what you think, because let's say you're distracted by something, or I'm distracted by something. If I don't view it as a distraction, I'm never going to change it, right? So it's not until I view that thing, that entity, that person, place, or thing as a distraction that I can be like, okay, now I can acknowledge it. Now it's just solely up to me whether I have the willpower and the courage to move forward. So, and it's just with other things too. If I can acknowledge what's working, Trinidad James actually said something so real while we was at that reflection, and he was like, people who get lucky don't focus on what's not working, they focus on what's working, and it just seems like everything just keeps falling in their lap because they're focusing on things that's working, not what they're not. They don't focus on the missed shots that they took, and how bad they shot yesterday and all that type of stuff. They focus on the now, and they try making the most out of right now. That was so real, and I'm starting to realize a lot of artists too go through a lot of the same things. So that was also very liberating within itself, right? Tying it back into the event with everything, all that other type of stuff, right? That was a very healing experience for me as well, because to see a mainstream artist, somebody that I listened to growing up, had no idea I would ever run into him, sit there and guide a class, telling them the same principles and the same things I tell you guys on my YouTube channel, just overall working on yourself, reflecting, trying to become the best version of yourself so you can be a better person and a better artist, a better entrepreneur, a better family person, whatever the case may be, right? Seeing that, it made me realize, I have a self-limiting belief. I'm sitting here insecure about these videos and, giving advice, reflecting on my situation, all this other type of stuff. Meanwhile, there's people out here who genuinely need it, right? Self-limiting belief. I ended up collaborating on a post with him and my pop and everything. Like, I was really accepted. I was really seen in a way. But that whole time I was like, nah, it's like, this is like, I'm not gonna say I don't belong here, because clearly I do. But the things that I find fun, the things that I find important, I thought they weren't important. Self-limiting belief. But like I said, everything is a learning experience. God put me in that room, put me in front of that person, so they can show me an essence of myself, right? So they can show me that, you good, in other words, right? So, yeah, man, y'all can take this video with a grain of salt. I'm trying to keep it as much, centered on I as possible, because I feel like when I talk about me in my truest form, and I really try to dig into my experience, that's when I'm at the most, help and benefit to you guys. I'm just keeping it real. Letting go of people isn't always fun, and a lot of the times it's very heart aching, right? Because you don't really want to let go of a lot of things. We create these attachments, these emotional, bonds to these people, places, and things, and then letting go of them kind of feels like we're leaving a part of ourselves, right? When I went on my entrepreneur journey, my creative journey, etc., right? When I first started, I noticed I had a lot of friends. I'm not gonna say like-minded to the people around me, but the way that I viewed life, was very close-minded, and I attracted other close-minded, mentalities. So as I started to grow and my mind started to open, what happened was my fault. What happened was there started to be like a disconnect with the people around me, because my eyes were going that way. When all your life you're put to face this way, right? When you finally look that way, it's kind of difficult for you to go back to looking this way, because you're like, yo, it's all of this to explore. It's new. It's, it's growth. It's something we haven't experienced. And my free spirit pulls me over there, right? So I'm very loyal, right? I have a very big heart. I'm very sensitive, right? I can be very honest about that. Even though I may give off a very nonchalant attitude at times, that's usually because I'm learning how to discern where to give my energy to, right? Because of how sensitive I am. But when I started to look kind of a different way, trying to find like a different route, really learning myself, I was trying to pull people with me, right? Whether it's family, friends, relationships. I was literally the whole spectrum of just people. I was trying to pull people with me, because I'm like, hey, I think we could all benefit from looking this way. I think that there's something here. I'm trying, can y'all come with me? And I feel like a lot of it was being dismissed because it was foreign to them as well, right? It's one thing when you present an idea to somebody versus when you present a reality to somebody. And before you yourself could get to the reality, you have to follow the idea. You have to follow the thought. You have to follow the emotion in order for it to manifest into something that you can physically show people. So it got to a point in my journey where I knew kind of a route to, fix this, like, how to fix the problem that a lot of us have our attention on. And the people around me, they just weren't taking heed to it, and it was slowing me down, because I was trying to convince or, help or literally yank these people in a direction that I don't think they necessarily wanted to go. And it hurt, right? Because I felt like a lot of the relationships that I lost, friends, family, and intimate relationships, I lost because I wanted better for them more than I wanted better for me. Which is really, heart opening, realizing that, you do have a really good heart, right? Realizing that's like, hey, no matter how far along you've got, no matter what you do, whatever the case may be, you're still pure, like you're still intact with your heart and your code, right? But the people around me, and I think I kind of got off track a little bit, but just having that heart made me loyal to a fault, right? I wasn't able to move forward. I wasn't able to do anything. I wasn't able to progress. I wasn't able to formulate new ideas, no anything, solely based upon the things that I had around me. And this is never to like say these people are bad or say these people are beneath in any type of facet, because I really don't want to give that energy off, right? I believe we are all equal. There's a God in everybody. All the people I've had to cut off and distance, I see the God in each and every one of them, right? But I can't control how they live their life. And I remember I think Lil Baby said in one of his interviews too, which was so real, a lot of the times it's not even the person, right? It's not even the person that you're cutting off that's truly the issue. It's the things surrounding them. It's what they're choosing to do, who they're choosing to talk to, the actions they're choosing to take, whatever the case may be, their thought patterns. It's usually never them. Because like I said, with a good heart, you also are able to see the God and, the pureness in other people. So, maybe, down the line, we can bring those people back, maybe, live in harmony, etc. But, I believe Kevin Gates also said this in an interview. He was like, every man has to search his own soul. We live by this. I'm not gonna say the other part. But so basically he was just basically reiterating where it's like you have to search your own soul, figure out what you're meant to do, what your passion is, what your purpose is, what your mission is, and live by it. When you live by it, you're gonna disconnect from certain things. But something I've noticed too, when somebody's meant to be in your life, if you're meant to experience something with that person, God is going to keep bringing them back into your life. Point blank, period. It's not going to be by force either. It's going to be like coincidentals, accidents, and stuff like that. That person's just going to keep ending up in front of you. Those are people you should probably take a little heat to, because God is trying to open you up a little bit. But other than that, when you bet on yourself, trust yourself, just allow things to flow how they're supposed to. Don't hold on to an attachment to something, because everything comes with a cost. Everything. Just having something in your vicinity is costing you something. You have to look at each thing, person, place, or thing, and examine its cost. What is this costing me? Right? What am I sacrificing in order to give to this? And once you start weighing out what's really pulling you the most, then you can realize, this is costing too much of this and it's not worth it. You actually start getting to see what's worth it and what's not. And you start moving forward. It's all discernment at the end of the day. When you go down that path less traveled, my papa told me this. He was like, when you go down the road less traveled, you won't have many friends, Jalen. You won't have many people who you get along with, right? But every once in a while, you will run across a like-minded individual. Every once in a while, you will run across another king who sees life how you see it. And it's just going to be an immediate connection. He said that's what happened with him and Bob Marley, right? It was random, but the moment they got in front of each other, it's like best friends from that point forward, right? That road less traveled is scary sometimes, but you always get rewarded for following in spirit, for following your gut, for following, what you know is right. If you keep your heart intact and you operate from a morally sane standpoint, you know the difference between right or wrong. If you operate from a morally correct standpoint, I know the difference between right or wrong, and you take action on the knowledge and wisdom that you know, right? Things will come to you. If you know you want to be a musician or an artist, you know you need to make music. That's what's going to get you further along. You know you need to network, build business partners, and all the other type of stuff, right? But having the moral compass underneath it tells you, don't do business with that person. That's not a good dude to do business with. Your moral standpoint tells you, I'm not going to say this in my music because I don't want this image spread out. Your moral compass is, your right versus wrong. Once you have a moral compass aligned in whatever purpose you have, you will inevitably get it, because not only are you acting out of pure, good, spiritually aligned energies and frequencies, but you have a plan, you have an idea, you're in the spirit of creation, you are bound to go forward, right? But like I said at the beginning of this video, it's all just tying into loving yourself, betting on yourself, trusting yourself, and allowing things to come to you when they're supposed to come to you. Don't force it. Every single time I try to fit in, I fail miserably, right? It's not even like oh, maybe this one. No. Every single time I've tried to fit in, whether that was to a person, place, friend group, environment, I don't care. Nothing's worked. Nothing came from it, right? Because when you're trying to fit in, you're abandoning yourself. You don't gotta fit into shit. The only thing you have to fit into is yourself. You have to fit into your essence, your spirit, your knowledge, your perspective, whatever the case may be. And then naturally, you attract people who think the same and we're kind of on your same frequency. There was no fitting into that needed to happen. We just needed to chill out. And I've noticed every single time I've tried to fit in, I've been left with heartache. I'm okay with being the oddball now. I get more peace that way, and I get more stuff done. I feel like God is happier with me a little bit when I'm accepting the oddball position, because yo, this shit is wicked. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, it's one of those things where, it's easy and it's probably the best thing to do. There's a lot of wicked people, a lot of wicked friend groups, a lot of wicked environments, and sometimes your spirit knows that shit is wicked before you do. And our ego is so hurt, we're so fragile, we're so insecure, we just want to be accepted at this point. So we'll put ourselves in some bullshit just because we want to get a I love you, a congratulations, a fuck, I don't know, whatever you're fishing for, right? But then you find out that by you trying to fit in, these people are going to reject you even more, right? Like, it's so weird, because for a while you think, oh, everything's working, like, oh, I'm trying to fit in, these people are accepting me, they're talking to me, into the moment they're not. Everything's good into the moment it's not, right? Because you weren't there, so you weren't meant to be there in the first place. That's like, bro, and I see it so much with, like, quote unquote nerds, right? Because I think I'm a nerd, right? But I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in the it's only so much nerd you can get out of me, right? But I resonate with a lot of nerds, right? Because, bro, I'll be posted up in the crib, I'm making the content, I'm taking pictures, I'm staying out of drama, I want to play Call of Duty, low-key nerd, like, right? I see a lot of people who are like that try fitting in with non-nerd people, right? What do I mean by that? I'll see somebody who is really a softie, right? I mean, in the realest way possible, surrounded by nothing but thugs, nothing but gangster, like nothing but negativity, in other words. And it's not because they wanted to, like, be that. They abandoned their nerdy side because they felt like their nerdy side wasn't accepted. Little did they know there was somebody like 3 houses down with the same nerdy ass perspective that you had, and would have accepted you at your most rawest, truest form. Um, it's really crazy. But then once you get into the space that you're trying to fit into, you realize that's not you. Somebody's card is going to get pulled in some side of facet, right? And there's going to be a disconnect right there, because that's not true. That's not you. Sometimes that shows up as just like silencing ourselves, right? In any other instance or with anybody else, you would have said what was on your mind. You would have checked that person. You would have spoke up. You would have did something, right? But you're so eager to fit into that person's ideal reality. I do it all the time. That I'll shut the hell up. I won't say what's on my mind. I won't say this is weird. Why are you doing that? I'll purposely people please because I want to fit in. But then what that leads to is when I continuously people please, now I'm actually getting frustrated over time, because now I'm starting to grow resentment. So then either way, it ends up with me addressing it, right? It ends up me pulling that card. Like, what the hell? What is this? Like, it ends up getting to that point anyways, right? So that's why, like I'm saying, trying to fit in shit, it really doesn't work, at least for me. If y'all go out your way and people please and try fitting in, and you're happy by trying to please other people, you're cut different. Keep doing it. I'm not going to tell you to not do something that's making you happy, but for a lot of people, trying to fit in is fucking them up in a real way, because they're trying to fit into spaces that's not them, bro. Like, make friends with people who are on the same thought as you, right? And when I say friends, when I say, and when I say friends, when you're trying to fit into a friend group, bro, y'all have to realize to put people in categories, right? I can only cut bread with you. You're the type of nigga, I don't want to hang with you. I don't want to talk to you. But I like the way you think business wise, all that type of stuff. We could cut some checks, right? Be some other niggas. Y'all are really cool homies. Y'all are like really cool people, maybe to like go catch a blunt with, go chill with. But I can't get to the money with y'all. Like, you niggas is tapped out, right? Like with all that type of things, you guys are cool to go shopping with, whatever the case may be, right? Play the game with. But I mean, like, a true friend is somebody who sees all of you, and you guys are cohesive and in harmony on all layers, right? You have a friend when you guys could be sitting there talking about some BS, right? You guys could be sitting there talking about relationships, love, whatever the case may be, and y'all be going family, fun, activities. The next thing you know, y'all talking about business. Y'all trying to cut bread. Y'all putting visions up to get like true like partnership. Damn near. We think partnership only happens in intimate relationships, bro. Bro, you have a partnership as a friend, right? This person is a friend, but they ride it, right? Like, it don't matter what side I show, they gonna have my back. That's a friend, right? Fit in with those people, because it's so much fucking easier. You don't have to do anything but be yourself. I've been in too many instances where I tried to fit in and ended up literally like, bro, there was instances where I almost ended up in like physical altercations with groups, like felt like 1v20 type shit, on some Kendrick shit, like literally like I'm going against everything fucking moving, right? All because I just wanted to fit in. Or actually, that's probably Drake. I'm not even gonna lie. It's probably the reverse in that instance, because he said that 1v20 comment. Or it's feel like, bro, I just tried to fit in, but then all of a sudden this backfired in my face. But like, shit, okay, bet. Like, it happens to a lot of us. Yeah, when you know something's not aligned with you, just back up, bro. You don't have to create enemies. I'm never the type of nigga to tell y'all go create enemies, go create ops and all this other type of shit. Life is too valuable. We should love each other a little bit more than that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Even if you don't agree, even if you don't like somebody, I see the God in somebody else. I'd never want to inflict violence on anybody. Um, but some people think certain ways, but I really think that eventually we're going to get to a point where we are okay with differences. We are okay with adversity. And instead of trying to change somebody else or change the adversity, you let it be what it is, right? That's, that's going that way, that's going this way. I shouldn't feel the need to make both of them go the same way. Just let things go in whatever direction they're meant to, because you never know. This person's route may make a U-turn and end up still going back in that person's route to help everything. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, certain shit you don't know. But being pure in the process is always the number one thing. If it's killing you in the inside, back up. And God will help you. God helps all of us. It's whether or not we want to acknowledge it. For the ones who do, my statement is true. When you follow your gut, when you follow your heart, and you're truly, operating from a spiritually aligned place, God handles all the other stuff, y'all. I promise. I actually remember the very first time I got paid to do what I love. It was for photography. And at the time, I was still working a job. I still was working at Starbucks, etc. And I'm pretty sure if you go somewhere on my channel, you'll see what I'm talking about, where I was just like, bro, there's a lot of stuff happening in the community. Black male. I'm like, yeah, no. I need an out so I can, refocus, because I want to get out the hood. I think we all do. So I was working this job, and I just got accepted to my film school. Spoke about that in another video too. And I just picked up my camera, and I remember I had a friend who was doing music. So he, reached out, whatever the case may be, and he paid me. I think he was the first person who paid me to do a music video. And I think it was like $50 or like $40, something like that. I really don't know. I think it was $60. It was maybe like $60. But that was enough for me to quit my job. When I got that first, photo shoot to do with my homie, it was actually a music video. So I had to shoot the music video and edit it for $60, right? The first time I got that, and I realized, like, well, I was about to be here at work for 4 or 5 hours and make that same $60 when I could be out here low-key having fun, chilling, and make the same $60. And then the stuff happening around the community and stuff like that, violence and all this other type of stuff. It was like, oh, I'm gone, right? The first opportunity I saw, I was like, nah, I'm leaving. I quit. I didn't put in a 2-week notice. My manager was like high-key mad because I quit the day of, a couple hours before my shift. It was low-key about to be a rush hour too. I started at like 10 or 11, maybe 12. And it was Starbucks. So, yeah, I definitely fucked that shift up. That nigga had to go to work for sure. But yeah, I took the risk, and I ended up betting on myself. But I initially got into it. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew entrepreneurship was going to be difficult, right? Did I expect it to be this difficult? Yes and no, right? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that, right? Doing what you love and getting paid to do it, it's easy, right? Because realistically, if you just follow a set group of steps, rinse and repeat, you get the results, right? It's not like this magical thing. It's kind of just like consistency and repetition. And adaptation, of course, you have to grow and evolve, but that's a byproduct of the repetition. What I didn't expect to be hard, right, was mastering myself, was getting out of my own way, was not being insecure, was actually believing in myself. That was the hardest, and still is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur, artist, whatever facet. It's coming into a sense of self, bro. Like removing your distractions, not being insecure, telling yourself that you do deserve something, that you are capable of something, truly standing in your power. I didn't expect it to be this hard, because it ties it literally into self-improvement. If you're slacking in one area, you're probably gonna slack in another one, right? If you have very bad fitness or very bad physical health, there's no way in hell your mental health is going to be good and positive, right? Because your body has a very big influence in the way that you think, right? Your gut, your heart, the way, like your blood, like all of these things are direct influences to what's going up here. So if I'm being lazy throughout the day, I'm eating too much junk food, I'm not working out, I'm just not utilizing my body, that's going to show in my entrepreneurship, which is a byproduct. It's going to show in how much money I make. It's like this whole big ass like bubble of self-improvement, right? I can't necessarily neglect no aspect of myself, because the business is me. I'm the business, so I have to be intact. If I'm not intact, there is no business, right? If the star player isn't able to think, isn't able to operate, isn't able to believe in himself, do the things that he needs to do, there's no way in hell that I'm going to be of value to a space outside of myself and add true value, experience, knowledge, all these other type of attributes that come with me if I'm not straight, y'all. So it's that was like a really big jump for me, realizing I can make such an easy process 10 times harder solely because I'm not good up here. So yeah, that getting paid that first time was a blessing, right, in retrospect, because it opened my eyes, right? I feel like the first time you get paid for something creative, or you get paid to do something that's not a typical 9-to-5 job, it opens you up spiritually, because now you know it's possible even at the slightest of forms. And then you like fall into this loop of evolution almost, where you start seeing what else is possible. Well, shit, I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know that was an option, but I did it. So what else out there do I not know I'm capable of? What else is out there that, can help me evolve, help me be a better me, ultimately help me live the life that God has ordained over my life? Because it's all a learning experience. I have to get to it anyways, right? It's all part of me and what I was destined to do. But it's crazy. I don't think nothing hits the same like those first few checks, right? Those first few payments. Because once you start to do it more, once you start kind of getting a little bit more used to the idea of clients, the idea of income, whatever the case may be, even in the slightest of forms, you kind of lose that enjoyment, as it just becomes, this is just what it is, it's just what I do, right? It becomes a lifestyle rather than an accomplishment. So for all the people out there who's also trying to get into entrepreneurship and all that other type of stuff, or at least be an artist, creative, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't experienced it yet, you are bound to experience it. Those first couple paychecks, those first couple of deposits, whatever you accept, cash, it hit different, and it makes you go into a really deep space of self, because it always opens your eyes. Nothing opens your eyes more than experience. Nothing I can tell you in this video about me, myself, my experience, or anything like that is going to be more potent than you actually going out there and getting that first deposit, getting that first little money, right? That within itself is going to show you. It's not necessarily, you know, how hard you're working and all this other type of stuff. It's what you're doing. It's how you're spending your time. That dictates a lot of stuff, right? You spend your time on less productive tasks or less productive goals. That's what's going to manifest. If you spend your time in more aligned spiritually, growth and just, I'm not going to say harmony, because with harmony comes disharmony. That's a part of harmony, but just a sense of ease almost. You'll grow a lot more faster. I did, at least. Letting things come, but also applying my hustle, right? I'm not the type of nigga who's going to tell you go sit somewhere and meditate all day and you're going to wake up with $1 million lotto ticket with all the right numbers on it because you saw it in a dream. You might, right? Spirit's very powerful. Nigga, I'm pretty sure somebody's been dreamed about the lotto numbers and just didn't go buy the ticket. But apply yourself and let it unfold. Do what you have, do what you can, and execute on your ideas in real time. Like, please, like, if it's, I talk to people who, like, they want to do something, they want, especially with content, they want to do content, all this other type of stuff, they just aren't doing it. Do it quick, because the sooner you do it, the sooner you see whether you want to keep doing it or not, right? You don't want to be the person who wanted to do something for 5 years and you got to the point where you don't have the opportunity or the option to do it no more, and now you're living in regret of not knowing whether or not that could have worked. Whether well, on the other side, you could have did it and probably figured out the first couple months, year, 2 years, whether that was for you or not, and then moved on, and then you didn't have no sense of regret because you did it, right? You had all the ideas. You emptied yourself. You didn't let no idea go to waste, right? It's kind of what I do on this YouTube channel, right? If it's a reaction, I'm going to post it. If it's a vlog, I'm going to post it. If it's, I don't care what it is, I'm going to post it because I'm draining my ideas out, right? That's what y'all got to do. And it allows you to stay in a flow, right? It allows you to keep growing. Once you get to a point of stagnancy where God is giving you all the ideas, giving you the next steps, and you just aren't acting on it, sheesh, that shit fucks me up. At least I get very depressed, so I don't want y'all to feel that. I love y'all.